story so far? Alright, story might be too strong a word. Basically, me, Jim, the Hammer and Frosty took a load of bikes to France and we trashed them. And the ones we didn't trash, trashed us. That's why there's no 916 Piposto in this movie, no SB6R, and only a brief cameo appearance from the 996 SPS. And last but most definitely leastly, no Frosty Bollocks, the artist formerly known as Rob Frost. In fact, it was only when we started cutting the second vid and we noticed Rob hadn't even made the cutting room floor that we realised he was still in the casualty department of Saint-Tropez General. And while we said we weren't going to tell you which bikes made it to the track, but it wasn't that difficult to guess now, was it? Put it this way, if you had to travel across Rwanda on your own, knowing that if you broke down you'd be spit roasted and your scrotum used for bongo skin, which of the bikes would you choose? Would it be the 916? We think not. Would it be the 996 SPS? Very unlikely. The SB6R? Wake up and smell the coffee. Or would it be the prang-proof GSXR, the bulletproof Blade, or the crash-proof Quack? We think you know. So not surprisingly, it was these three bikes we ended up slugging it out on. After the SB6 alternator packed up for the second time, the 996 continued to jettison oil, and the Piposto barbecued a clutch within a day's travel. Here's Jimmy cautiously warming up the tyres of one of the survivors. And here's Jimmy not so cautiously warming up the tyres. Actually, the fact that the only three remaining were the Blade, the ZXR and the GSXR was no bad thing, as they're probably the most evenly matched bikes for a small circuit like the Luke, where you only really brake twice, and it's all down to corner speed and getting the power on hard and fast out of the turns. Here's the same left-right-left section for the third time, which is all taken in third gear, and the boys are almost ready for the off. Simon wearing the front helmet cam, me the horrible reverse pod, and Jimmy predictably refusing either in case it covered up any of his Dainese logos. Finally we all get to play, and Jimmy gets one last go trying to make it all the way to the first corner on one wheel. This is a second gear right, which apexes very late and has collected both Danny and Andy in its time. And here it is again, seen from my over-the-shoulder number. Then it's on to the S's, which apparently is very hard on the front tyre according to those who ride it fast enough. And here's the double apex right, a bit like Coppice at Donington, and a bend which sees a few dodgy lines when you're warming up tyres. Then it's up one gear for the best bend on the track, the 110 mph right, which slingshots you down the back straight into the hairpin. Which, as you can see, is a little too fast for your own good sometimes, and has now been dubbed Cole's Corner in honour of my unique line there. But let me tell you some more about that first corner. Basically, when Jim stopped fucking about, it's approached by a 115 mph left kink, which throws you completely to the wrong side of the track as you line up for it. Then you let it run wide to the outside and line up for the next sweeping right, changing up from second to third, before hooking it up a cog along the short straight for that left-right-left section. And then into that tricky double apex right. This is where the fast kids like Frosty make up so much time screwing the power down hard on exit and sliding the back end, though if you were to get it wrong you'd be vine pressing all the way to Sandtrop, if you were lucky enough to clear the Armco, that is. Then it's through the fastest right, drifting wide to the outside curb before you line it up for the chicane. Here there's a variety of lines, but basically it's best to square it off, slam it on its side and fire it out. That's exactly what the GSXR did to Frosty. Back into the first corner, and this is one of the two places Jim makes up most of his time. With all that weight to lug about, he has to be good on the brakes. Getting the drive out of this corner is what ultimately determines top speed at the loop, as the back straight is slightly faster than the front. Remember how fierce I said Jimmy was on the Anks? I mean, this is only a road test and he's getting clear air between the rear wheel and the deck, first into the left kink at the end of the straight, and then seriously airborne into the approach to the right. Here's Hammer giving it foggy body style through the S's. Before clipping the apex on the second pass of the double right and shifting up a gear for the big one. Frosty claims he just short shifts into fourth here and lets it ride out, drifting wide to the outside curb and lining up for the chicane again. Here there's a variety of lines, but this time round Simon's is just about the best one. So while the boys are checking out who's watching their wheelies from the grandstand, I managed to sneak in front down the straight for my one lap of glory. Actually, it's about half a lap, because despite leading at the S's, first Simon and then Jim get underneath me at the double right. And there's no way anybody's going to do Jimbo into the chicane. He leads again into the first right, and now we're actually beginning to turn in reasonable laps. Around 62 seconds with the cameras fitted, instead of 60 seconds without, or 57 seconds with the brain of Rob Frost. Not to be outdone by a mere puddle jumper, I try and carve 6 seconds off my best time all at one corner, though the tight to the apex going in, drifting wide on exit line is actually correct, just a little bit out of control. S's again, and as you can hear by the engine revs, times are getting better all the time. And here we are on the way back down to the last corner chicane again, where it was all beginning to get a little frantic, not to mention close. In fact, a lap later we decided it was all getting a bit too close. So much so that when Jimmy got airborne again on the brakes for about the third time in succession, we decided to call it a day. Here's Jimmy's account of his great escape.
On that fastest right-hander, the front just went whack. What, on the right-hand kick? Yeah, and I picked it up again, and I went into the gravel, did the whole length of the gravel trap, that far away from the wall, and back out the other side.
Which corner?
That bottom right one, the 110 mile an hour one.
Well, when you were behind me?
Yeah.
Were you going to try and take me then?
Yeah, I just turned in, it went...
Did it go over?
Huh?
Has it gone over?
No. But I did the whole length of the gravel trap at about a ton. I was flat out and I just kept it nailed and I was going, oh! And you missed it, you didn't even look round. I was like, no, come back.
With the bike still in one piece through the corners, it was time to try and break them in a straight line. Troy Corsa, eat your heart out. That's the best thing about hiring a track exclusively. It means you can practice your wheelies and stoppies and brake slides. Though with some rather inevitable consequences. Finally, Jimmy got bored of playing with our slot and disappeared in search of, well, we're not quite sure what. Just intimidating anyone and everyone.
Alright. Little, hey. Yeah? Alright. It's the little one. Can get a wheelie,
Though one or two did actually manage to give him the slip. Here's Jim carving his name on the Cannes catwalk, just like they do in Beverly Hills. Finally, so enamoured was Jim with the blade that he decided to steal it permanently, taking advantage of my dreams to pilfer away the key for keeps. Seems like he finally found mine, and at the same time lost his own shit.
Oh, maybe not. Alright. Little, hey bitch, yeah? Alright. It's the little one? Like this? Huh? Huh? I think not. He's too old. Alrighty. Alrighty then, look at this. A match made in heaven. Hey bitches. Oh yes. There's some of those sailor fucks off that ship. Hey bitches, how you doing? You're off the boat, right? American? Yeah? Alright. Excusez-moi? You ain't on the boat. It's le casque, huh? La tête, huh? It's cool. Check out my bullshit. Check this out.
Check this out. They must think Jimmy's come to give himself up.
C'est possible pour direction. Pour les brothel. The House of Sin.
You want to go where? La Boca?
Ladies, you know, titties and favors, etc. Bitches.
Bord de mer. Aussi?
Ah oui, oui, oui. As long as they don't have dicks is okay. Because the other one had is c'est bon?
But, I don't know. I don't understand what you say.
So c'est this way, de la mer.
Ah, pour la mer.
Ouais.
You want to take the road near the sea?
Oh oui, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
C'est bon.
This?
C'est bon.
Yeah, La Boca. Après
Bon.
le Trias.
Okay.
You have a lot of bikes in the Trias.
Oh oui,
because
oui.
Because
Of the roads.
Okay.
Do you excusez-moi pour asking, do you and your friends, amis, do you do wheelies on your bikes?
Wheelies?
Wheelies,
With this?
Oui,
No,
is
no,
possible?
No, we can't make this because the bike
Is shit?
The bike is fat
Oh wait.
with
So
this you can. With this you can't.
it's good. What about the scooter? The scooter. Does this one is good?
This? No.
Wait.
No.
No?
No. 80 cm3.
Oh wait. Oh. Never mind, huh? Okay. Très bien, monsieur.
De rien.
Bonjour. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Merci.
Merci bien.
De rien.
Merci. Take care now. Bye now. Oh, so beautiful, huh? Oh, good one, man. Hey! You want to race, huh? You want to race? You and me, bro, huh? Ooh. You and me, I'll take you on any fucking day of the week and we race and I'll kick your ass on that piece of shit. Huh? He's good? C'est bon? C'est bon? Wheelie? Huh? Okay. Okay. A very cowardly race, the French. Ah, messieurs, c'est possible pour le reste of the lot? C'est... Oui, oui. Excusez-moi. Mon ami ask me if c'est possible pour une race.
You speak English? No. You speak.
Yes. No.
Alors, votre ami?
C'est racing.
Racing?
Oui.
Je comprends pas. Quelle langue vous parlez quoi?
Monsieur, de racing.
Je cherche un circuit.
Un circuit?
Oui,
Circuit
oui.
ici?
Oui, pour.
Karting.
Non, non, pour le moto.
La moto.
Ah oui.
À Cannes, non.
Non?
Il n'y a
Ah.
pas de racing, Cannes.
Oui.
Le Castellet.
Merci, merci. Hip hip motherfuckers. Merci, monsieur. Merci. Alright. Hello. Bonjour, madame. Oh, madame, c'est possible pour une wheelie pour le caméra. Oh, you want to race, huh? Possible, just a little one. Please, please, s'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît. Just a little one. No?
Avant ou arrière?
Oui, so whatever. Oh, it's good. It's good. You can do. J'ai regardé. All right, here we go. Get on, my son. Get on, my son. Stop me. No. Okay. All right. Alright! Alright! Woo! 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 Oh! Très bon, monsieur! Très bon! Très bon! Ah, merci bien! Merci bien! Merci bien! God bless your ass, motherfucker! Alright! Yes! Woo! Bonjour monsieur, bonjour madame. We want for some excellent toys. Alright. Yeah, my man. Woo! Woo! Give me five! Alright! Yes! Woo! Yes! Monsieur, you are a god among mopeds! Bitch, back off! Oh, kick your ass! Ah, yes! Au revoir, monsieur!
But there's only one way it could ever end. Being pulled for a third gear Minger is one thing, but it's especially humiliating for the copper when he's flat out on two wheels and he still can't catch a bloke on one. fact, the only reason they caught Jimmy at all was because he thought it was me behind him and eventually slowed down.
À gauche, 200 mètres, je crois. Peut-être 100 mètres.
Poor old Olivier at Pro Bike. His 888 is already a marked bike after the first session in Cannes, and now they nicked Jimmy on his 916 as well.
Indestructible on the road, invincible in the courts. Let's go.
Finally, however, that old foreigner abroad stuff worked a treat, particularly when they realised Jimmy's licence only entitled him to drive seated lawnmowers and electric pedal cycles, and his case was transferred to a British court.
Welcome. Let me summarise. So, look smart, be polite, be respectful, remorseful.
Believe it or not, they actually fell for his sob story, commuting his sentence to another half day's riding with Rob Frost at Leluc, a fate quite frankly worse than any ban, imprisonment or even death itself.
I'm a totter. They totted up my points.
How many points do you have in your license?
I had 3 on one and 6 on the other. That makes 9. Now I have 15 points, not licenses. Excellent. Result. I think result for everyone. Thank you.
So this is Jim, Hammer and Bollocks, on the Blade, Bird and Ace. Latter being bikes that have to be ridden with a little respect at Leluc, lest they dig in and pitch you off. As you can see, Frosty's not too bad on the brakes. He's not bad on the power either. Here's the boys back on the 750s. Meanwhile, here's Rob doing his best to get off the Super BB, which despite its weight was still hanging right in there and was the fastest bike ever down the back straight at Leluc. In fact, it only took a lap of trying to stay in front of Frosty when even Jimmy realised his best interest would be served by staying in the pits.
Okay, so this is what a hot lap of Le Loop should really look like. Scrub off a little speed into this left-hander here before braking down 2 gears into this tight right-hander. Careful on the exit. The next right-hander here, it's really hard on the front end, but you can get the back end spinning on the way out. Always makes me laugh. Right, up to 4th and then down 1 into this awesome left-right-left chicane. Carrying as much corner speed as possible here before braking and going down 1 into this 2nd gear double apex right-hander. Gets pretty bumpy here as you try and screw on as much power as possible into the back straight. This next 4th gear right-hander is really good for making up loads of time on this circuit onto the second part of the straight here. You've then got some really hard brake into this nasty 2nd gear right-hander which takes you back onto the start-finish straight.
Another near one.
Want to see Frosty put the new blade through its paces?
This is Rob Frost reporting from the European launch of the 1998 Fireblade.
My name is Kunihiko Miwa, come from Japan.
Or maybe you want to see Hammer tame the R1? Or maybe you're busting to see Jimmy and the ZX9 in perfect harmony. You know what you gotta do. You gotta buy the one and only Fastbikes road test video. 'Cause believe it or not, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Excusez-moi, parlez-vous français? Parlez-vous anglais?
Pardon?
Parlez-vous anglais? Little. Parlez-vous espagnol?
Un petit peu.
Parlez-vous italien?